Yes, sir.
Parker Levitt from the Arizona Republic. Just curious, you said that you have 16 organizations here in Maricopa County that are supporting you, law enforcement organizations. And in your opinion, are they supporting you because you're not Joe Arpaio?
Well, ask him. There's union reps right here. Ask Mike Durant.
There's 14 directly that we represent,
Okay.
agencies in Maricopa County. Plus, I happen to know other associations that have another 7 or 8 that do. So probably way over 20, 25, might be even 30 associations. So he's got quite a bit of support, and that's because he's going to do things right. I mean, we want things done correctly, and we're going to support him for that.
Mr. Saban, talking about the ad, do you have any tangible proof that Sheriff Joe was actually involved in that smear campaign and he got his hands dirty getting the Republican Party to put those ads out?
As I've said all along, it's my personal opinion. And my personal opinion is based on 3 things. One is the fact that he openly stated that in numerous interviews and public settings that there was something big coming and that the truth would be known. Well, that's a pretty strong statement. The second one is the very aggressive move by Dave Hendershot, his number 2 guy, to try to court Gerald Richard away from our campaign and our support. And the third one is what I'm seeing on Bell in front of me in news reports with Joel Fox.
Dan, can I deal with that?
Yes.
On the issue of diversionary tactics, Joe Arpaio knew that the National Commission on Correctional Health Care had notified county officials that they had pulled their accreditation for the county jails. At the same time that came down, Randy Pullum, who is the state chair of the Arizona Republican Party, released that hit piece against Dan, similar to what Rob Coble did 4 years ago when he was with Channel 15, the same type of sleazy attack. So these things are not by accident, this is by design. And I issued a letter to the general public, to the Republican Party and other folks to have Randy Pullum as state chair step down. I've been a Republican all of my life. I've worked for 2 Republican governors, 2 speakers of the House, chaired the Arizona African American Republican Committee for 10 years, was a member of large of the Maricopa County Republican Committee. This disturbs me greatly when something like this happens. Not only from a Republican perspective, but from a citizen's perspective. I'm extremely upset that something like this would happen. And I've asked for Randy Pullum to step down as chairman of the Arizona Republican Party. This is not what this party is about. This is lower than anything Carl Rove would ever think about doing. And this is the kind of politics that we have to get rid of. And it goes past being a Republican. It goes to the heart of being a good citizen of this state, this country, and this county. And this is the type of politics that destroys everybody. It cuts right to the core of destroying somebody. When Rob Coble released that piece 4 years ago against Dan, I told Dan, I said, there's one thing that nobody can erase. Your wife and your 5 daughters will have it in the back of their minds that you did something wrong. Joe Arpaio can come and apologize to you and anybody else, but it will not erase that. And this is the type of sleazy politics that we're going through, and this is what has to stop. We have to put Dan Saban in. This is a man that I've worked with directly when I was working directly with Gidim. I know what he's about. I've worked with him. I've known him for over 12 years. And these folks in the law enforcement community that is backing him, they're backing him because they trust him, they know what he's about, and they know he's a professional. And that's the kind of sheriff that we need for this county.
Mr. Saban, I have one more question
Yes.
for you. The news conference that was held down at West Bowling Plaza, I thought it was such a critical news conference where that big packet of information Gerald supposedly received. Why weren't you there?
Because we have a campaign strategy, and I'm booked 3 in the morning till 10 at night. We were not prepared to handle that kind of catastrophe and attempt to smear me. We were able to put time into it the day before. We gathered that information. I couldn't get there in time. I had other commitments. There are voters that are out there that wanted to hear candidate forums, debate schedules that I was on a very strict schedule.
I understand that, but there were representatives from each of the media outlets here in the Valley. Your reach could have amounted to millions, but you didn't show up that day. That was kind of curious.
I think the documents speak for themselves. This trial, this is all information that was all made public in the trial. It's all been through the media. So what we provided that day was just merely, here it is again. I mean, there was no need. I was there the day before. I decried that immediately as soon as I could find a spot, and I couldn't even stick around for that press conference. I had to leave. I promised Dennis to answer some questions. I had to go because there are people that are waiting and paid money and committed to these events that I had to get to. So if you think that my presence wasn't there, then I would challenge that recommendation because I've been straight up, been right here every time. You know, let's talk about Joe Arpaio and his cowardice for doing that smear attack and being involved, because that's my opinion, and his unwillingness to debate. You know, one thing that he fails to understand is we are both candidates. We're both equal. Neither one of us have won this job. He's out of work, just like I am. I retired. So, you know, there's a lot to be said about that, and I think it sends a very strong message when he won't debate.
Speaking of that ad, the news release you sent out about this news conference said the TV smear ads, which leveled the same phony charges Arpaio has been spinning for 4 years, appear to have come from inside the MCSO. What evidence do you have of that?
Speculate. It's my opinion, based on eyewitness accounts and this new revelation of Joel Fox. So the two eyewitness accounts that we related, that's my opinion. And Joel Fox now, his name surfacing as a member of this committee.
Dan, can I say one thing?
Sure.
You know, I'm sorry, real quick. Lou Ebrat with probation, he's got to take up. Anybody have questions for Lou real quick? Because he's got another meeting. I apologize. Claire? No? All right. Thank you. Thanks.
I just want to say one thing. Those that have known me for a long time know how pro-police I am. I would do about anything for a cop. Not so much for the fourth floor, but for a cop I would do. And it was very encouraging to me 4 years ago to meet Dan and to see what he had to offer and what he was about. And so we fought a really good fight back then. But what I want to tell you all is most cops are Republicans. That's just the way it is. And I have been a Republican for quite some time. When I seen the ad, the smear job they done on Dan, and wouldn't run it until after 9, I mean, they knew it was nasty. They knew it was nasty. I went to the Republican Party and I resigned. I do not want to base my feelings, my being, you know, I don't know how important you guys take a party, but to me it was pretty important. And I don't want to stand around them or with them or anything that shows this kind of behavior. I think it is just, you know, and I think every citizen feels that way. I can't believe the people that have come up to me and said after that, you know, Dan's their man. So, but, you know, the more press we can get for doing the right thing, the better off we are.
Well, but Dan, I mean, you know, the same tactic, whether, you know, this harm was perpetrated by Joe or whatnot, but you know, it worked last time. I mean, he didn't get elected, he couldn't beat Joe the last time. Why won't it work?
Because we've already
It won't work
heard
this
it.
time.
We've already heard it, and we're not
I was
like,
asking Dan.
oh, I'm sorry.
You know, I don't, we have our campaign plan and we're going forward. I mean, like I've told you before, we're a grassroots effort, and this was a bump in the road to me. It's clearly a diversion because I think what's happened, and let me just real quickly, it was the yellow sheets. The Capital Time yellow sheets is where the information on Joel Fox came out yesterday. That's what I was referring to. But the, you know, this tactic of his is controlling. You know, I think, and I tell people when I speak, and like I said, I speak, you know, 5 or 6 times a day. I tell people to watch. If it's about self-promotion, if it's about promoting himself, you see him right in front. If there's any challenge by the media, or there's any questions about policy or protocol or something gone wrong, he's never there. It's always Paul Chagoya or Lisa Allen answering. And I think that sends a very strong message that he's not willing to be accountable, which is why he won't debate. So this is his desperation to try to smear me, my character. But again, I'm in it for the right reasons. I'm in it because I just personally don't agree with the way he runs this organization. And you know what? I have a right to be a candidate no matter what he thinks. And I'm in. My family's in no matter what he puts us through. We're here to do this because I have a right to. And I'm not intimidated by him by any means.